Welcome back to the Two-Way Hockey Podcast. We're still here. We haven't been fired yet, so we're gonna keep on talking, and hopefully you guys keep on listening. We're gonna start off like we always do with our stars of the week. Obviously, we're missing Brandon. I don't know if you guys want to do his first or last, but Nick, why don't you start us off?
All right, so Brandon will go last. Punishment for not being here, but
that's a good call.
My star of the week from your Vegas Golden Knights is Alex Tuch. He had 3 goals, 3 assists for 6 points in 4 games played. Had a nice little game-winning goal in there. He finished top 5 in points this week, and I just wanted to give him a little bit of credit. He's a kind of an unsung hero on that team with all their forward depth, but that was such a key acquisition for them when they got him heading into the expansion draft, and he played big minutes before Stone came, and that's a legitimate top 6 forward, and he's playing like it right now.
They robbed him from Minnesota.
Oh, yeah, absolute steal.
They've just robbed Minnesota, just period. It was not a great draft for them.
And Anaheim and Florida and
they robbed a handful of teams. They did a really good job.
Yeah,
maybe Seattle did the same thing. We'll see. Nick, Mac, you want to do yours? Or?
Mine is Alex Killorn this week. It's kind of a dark horse pick in the sense, but he had 2 games on the week. He ended up putting up 2 goals and 3 assists for 5 points, including a game winner in a thumping against San Jose. He played solid. He got the points, and I think he had 2 points in the power play there against San Jose. So, here in my star of the week this week.
Alex Killorn, the offensive star on Tampa.
This might be the wildest week for stars that we've ever had. Because when you look at this graphic coming out, we're going to have Nick's with Alex Tuch, Mac on Alex Killorn, and then I got Tristan Jarry. It's like, if you're not a Pittsburgh fan, you've probably never even heard of Tristan Jarry before this week.
Or a Leafs fan, because
we've been trying to get Tristan Jarry for a month now. But Tristan Jarry went out and had 2 games this week, put up a shutout in both of them, set the franchise record for a shutout streak at it was 117 something. I don't remember the exact number. I don't research things. It's not worth it. But yeah, kid was absolutely disgusting this week. Stole 2 wins for them. Shut it down. He's stealing Matt Murray's starting job, which is incredible considering what Matt Murray's done in the past. But yeah, he's basically taken himself off the Leafs roster by putting himself as the number 1 goalie in Pittsburgh. So good for him. He gets my star this week, and
he's been on fire.
Yeah, it's tough to argue with it. Most people probably haven't heard of him, but you should probably start paying attention. The guy's been gross.
That team just hates losing.
Yeah, I don't get it.
They just don't lose.
They shouldn't be this good, but yet here we are, and they're 8 points up on the Leafs.
Yep.
Wonderful. Brandon kind of fucked everything up for us. He did John Carlson, and it just kind of makes sense, even though we haven't picked him. I don't have
stupid pick. That's normal.
Who picks the guy that makes sense? That's no fun. I don't even have his numbers in front of me, but he's good. He's been gross all week, and I think we probably could have picked him a few times, and we haven't. So give him his dues. Thanks, Brandon. He'd probably do a better job explaining it, but as you can see, he's not here in this little square thing we got going on. Yeah. So moving on, I guess. The Leafs are kind of back. Would we say they're back?
Up and down, kind of.
They're almost back.
More up.
They're looking more. They're looking more back. They've had 2 games, 3 games.
Yeah.
2 games or 3 games since our last podcast. 2. All right.
I figured it was a 50-50 guess.
At least 2, and the last 2 were good. I would say, anyways. The game against St. Louis, they completely thumped the defending Stanley Cup champions, who are on a bit of a slide right now, so I'll give them that. But they looked really good offensively against St. Louis. Maybe not so much defensively, but Freddie's been standing on his head, and he did so again last night against our Vancouver Canucks. I guess
Let's go.
That Canucks game, man, give me that every night of the week. That is so much fun to watch those 2 teams play each other.
Yeah, that was an exciting game.
What's defense?
No, you don't need it. Both high-flying offenses with, what do you call it? just zero defense. That just you rely on your defense to score offense, and just wild.
Shout out
I
to
love
both
it.
goalies in that game too, because
Yeah.
there was like literally no defense in that game, and there was 3-1. So
Yeah, that was the biggest story last night was the Freddie Anderson thing. Greg Millen was pumping his tires all night long, but like Jacob Markstrom had like a quietly incredible start in net for the Canucks. Like,
he was
the goals
great.
he let in, like the goals
One
he
off
let in,
the end wall. Matthews
one
going
time.
shelf. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. John Tavares went absolutely perfect, and then the other stars goal I don't really remember, but like two from Tavares that you expect to put the puck in the net, one of Matthews. So like he made some huge saves, kept them in it. Are we concerned at all of the Leafs defense, like what they're doing, or can we just ride Freddie until it doesn't matter anymore?
I mean, it's not ideal. None of this is great. But I mean, CeCe played 16 minutes last night. I love that. I think that just helps your defense overall. It was a bit of a scrambled eggs fest out there. There was not much coverage going on, and defense has always been our problem. But I think at this point they're playing neutral zone better, and they're keeping the puck for longer. And with their offense, it's allowing them to score more goals, obviously. But I think right now they're getting by. I think they still do need to improve, and I think they will because like Keefe's been there 2 weeks now, maybe 3.
Yeah.
Like
and
they're
it
still trying
already
to
looks
transition.
better.
Yeah, for sure.
It's a type of system that can get beat by the stretch pass, and Vancouver plays the stretch pass very well.
Yeah,
and it showed. They had so many breakaways last night; it was insane.
Yeah, they're good. They're good at that, and they've been good at that all year. The one thing I kind of want to talk about is the backup, like people trying to trade for a backup goalie. I don't understand why people want to take somebody off of this roster to bolster the backup position. Realistically, how many more games are you getting out of your backup this year? There's 6, not even 6 back-to-backs left. I think there's 5 back-to-backs left.
6, yeah. I think.
6. Okay, so there's 6 back-to-backs left. You give him those 6. If you're a normal team, you're gonna give him 2 more after that.
Yeah,
so he's
I
got
was
what?
gonna say 8 to 10. Absolute max 8
to 10 starts max, and you're gonna take a guy that has to play 50 more games on this team and trade him for a guy that's gonna play 8 to 10. That makes zero sense.
I don't think there's a single reason to trade somebody off the current roster for a backup. If you want to move a pick, you want to move a prospect, sure, I don't care.
Yep. The problem is the Leafs aren't in a spot where they can trade for a backup goalie without losing cap off their own roster. And in order to do so, you have to give up someone decent, and I don't want to do that. I don't think that makes any sense. Like you're sacrificing a guy who's going to play the majority of the season for a guy that's going to play a handful of games. Even if the guy comes in and he's incredible, like you're not taking Freddie out of his net.
My only worry would be an injury to Freddie, because what happens if he gets hurt right now?
We're
rolling
if there's
Hutch
an injury
and
to Freddie.
Yeah,
but if there's an injury to Freddie, just wrap it up, because there's nobody you can
Buffalo
bring in.
Give Buffalo the keys to the playoffs, and we'll just pack it up and see on the course.
There's nobody that you can bring in that's going to replace what Freddie's been doing.
No, but a capable backup is going to win you some games.
Some, but not enough to get
like McElhinney did the last time Freddie got hurt.
Yeah,
I think that's what people want, and that I understand that argument, but I don't know. I don't get trading somebody off your roster unless it's just for that little bit of cap space.
Can we not say Kapanen can be that guy? I would.
To what? To trade?
Yeah.
In theory, yes. Like he's a piece that you could trade. I don't like trading him personally. I don't really see the point of it. Because like as much as he doesn't hit a ton and like he's not a big fighter, he is that grit that everyone seems to want. Like he's kind of like he can play that shutdown role, and he's kind of a pest when he needs to be.
So I think that same guy is Auberg, though. Watched him play last night.
Recently, I'll give him that. He's looked good, but from all past perception of Auberg has been that he can't play defense and he's lazy, which he looks completely different now coming up. Maybe he's changed his ways, but like I don't know if you're ready to commit to Pontus Auberg being the guy that's like, yeah, this guy can shut down other teams, because he's never done it.
Which is captain. Lazy, does not play defense.
But at least he plays on the penalty kill, and he's done a good job of it so far, right? you've never really seen Pontus Ahlberg play on the penalty kill and have to do anything for this team. That's
Well, he's only played
like,
one game, right? Or two?
Two games.
But he's
point,
also
point per
played
game on
a
the
ton of
Marlies
games.
playing PK on the Marlies too.
Yeah. So maybe he's changed it enough. I don't know. I don't hate it. I understand why people want to use Cap as a trade piece. I honestly think that his cap situation is really good for what he gives you.
I think so too.
Like for what his ceiling is.
Before, I'm trading Janssen before I trade Kapanen.
I trade either of them.
I'm not high on Janssen at all.
I don't like. There seems to be this referendum against Andreas Janssen among
I've never liked
Leafs
him,
Twitter especially.
Lately,
but why
people
not?
have been all over them. I've never liked him. He doesn't do anything well for me.
Okay. There's so many people on I've seen so many people on Leafs Twitter that are just like, yeah, he doesn't really do anything wrong. I just don't like him. And I'm like, I don't really understand. I like Andreas Janssen. I think he's got a decently high ceiling, and I think he can be that two-way guy if you let him play that role, and I think he's done a decent job of it, and he's good in transition.
I would agree, but my point is more that everybody on that team has one thing that you can point to that they're good at in those depth roles, and Janssen, I couldn't tell you one thing he's good at. He takes stupid penalties. He causes turnovers when Matthews and Nylander are buzzing. He's always too high in the slot and gets burnt, or too low in the slot and gets burnt. I don't know. I'm not very high on him. And like Kapanen, sure, he has his speed. Moore, he has his forechecking, same as Hyman. Whatever you want to point to, everybody has one thing that they can hold down a depth role with. Janssen just.
If Trevor Moore was making more money, he'd be the piece that I'd be like, yeah, I'm okay with getting rid of that.
But that's the thing, is why not trade a guy who's making more money and let Moore take their spot?
I think those three are all very similar players in the sense of their kind of work ethic and speed or whatever.
I'd even throw Hyman in that.
Yeah, but Hyman's kind of found himself a role on that line.
But he's not with them anymore.
Yeah, he's turned himself into PA parent.
Tavares and Marner.
Yeah, he's turned himself into PA parent to Matt Molson, making money because John Tavares looks incredible. But
is he not still with Kerfoot and Kapanen?
No, they moved him back three. They moved him back 3 games ago, and he's got 4 goals in 3 games.
Yeah, I don't watch him.
He looks unreal.
And Tavares and Marner look really good right now too.
Yeah,
so they're not.
That line's back. I don't think Hyman's a piece you even ponder trading away because he's only making 2.5. I think it is. Yeah. That's not enough to be like, yeah, that'll bring in some cap space. There's nothing there. You're not getting
saying as comparables as players.
Yeah.
What Mac was saying, they're all they're depth pieces that can slide up and down, I think, and they all bring something to the table.
Yep. I think they all bring something a little bit different. I think Hyman obviously is the puck retriever, I guess we'll call him, of the group. He plays the best at it. He's one of the best at it in the league, but his offensive side of the game is a little yikes sometimes. His hands aren't really there, and his finish is kind of rough at times. But he's put 4 in the last 3 games, so I can't really say it. But then you get a guy like Kapanen who's ridiculously fast and just burns guys all day game long. Doesn't do much with the. Yeah, well, that doesn't count. McKinnon burns everyone that's not named Connor McDavid. So, but his hands aren't really. They don't. His brain's not quick enough to keep his hands with his feet,
which is he can't see with his hair in front of his eyes.
Yeah. Get the kid a haircut, but you obviously see the flaws with all of them. I think Janssen, for me, he's not great at anything, but he's good at everything in my eyes. He's not gonna blow your mind. He's not gonna do something like that. He does some cool shit in front of the net, like that goal he scored 2 weeks ago, where he batted it out and then batted it out of midair again. And I was like, he can do shit like that, which is really cool. But like you said, he does take dumb penalties and stuff like that. It hurts his value a bit. But
I don't think he's that lines fit, in my opinion.
No,
I still think they're searching for somebody to play on that line.
Who's your fit on that line right now?
Miles Wood.
Jeremy Bracco?
Yeah.
Pontus Aberg.
I mean, Jeremy Bracco's skill set makes a lot of sense on that line. I can see that. But, I mean, he's obviously not. I don't think he's NHL ready, at least. He's still really small, which isn't a big issue in the league anymore, but, he's not really ready to play with the big boys.
He's pretty fast.
Is he?
Yeah.
Short, though.
Yeah, I mean, that's not going to change.
I think he's probably...
Inches.
Yeah.
You know who hasn't been attempted on that line is Mikheyev.
I was just gonna say that.
No.
Brant doesn't like Mikheyev. I like him a lot.
I
would keep him over at Janssen every day of the week.
I hate his offensive game. It's atrocious.
He retrieves pucks and gives it to the skill guys.
Sure, but he's not even really good at giving it to the skill guys. Like, he just throws it in an area and they go pick it up. Like, Tavares has had to fetch so many bad passes from him, and like Tavares can do it because he's John Tavares. If you're Matthews and Nylander and you're trying to like
they can do it too because they're Matthews and Nylander.
Sure, but I'm not trying to throw them with Mikheyev to make that line better. I think Janssen makes that line better than Mikheyev would.
I think that's a bad take.
I don't think they have anybody that can play with them right now.
I would agree with that.
I kind of. I think they're all Miles Wood. Blake Coleman would be fun too. But
Taylor Holl. Throwing names out there.
Let's just get another expensive forward in here because that won't piss anyone off. Nobody on Leafs Twitter ever mentions the fact that 4 forwards are making 50% of the cap. Right?
TC captain. There's your under the cap. Screw defense. Just go.
Sure. CC cap, and then give me one more guy, and we'll just trade him for Taylor Hall and PK Subban and light the world on fire.
Let's throw Nylander in there, and we'll bring Schneider back.
No.
So that we have a backup.
No.
Wow.
No. People are still trying to trade Nylander, though, eh? Like, that's still a thing.
Ridiculous.
People are just still trying to get Subban.
So good.
Like, give it up.
Subban,
I don't
give
know.
it up. Bad.
Subban is horrendous.
He's the worst defensive defenseman in the league, other than Brent Burns.
Yeah, defensively, he's been awful, and he went 15 straight games with no points.
Yeah, at least Brent Burns is scoring.
Yeah,
like there's a difference. Brent Burns isn't great defensively, but he'll put the puck in the net and he'll get you points.
To Subban.
No, he's so bad.
Other than publicity stunts.
Yeah,
with Lindsey Vonn.
Good social media presence. Maybe he brings that to Toronto.
Yeah, maybe he should start his YouTube channel when they're not on a 6-game slide.
I love going to you guys ever look at Toronto Baghead's tweets?
I hate him so much.
Oh, I know. This is like I love going there after the wins just to see what this guy will pinpoint as like something bad that happened. I'm like, man, this was like a perfectly like the game against St. Louis was like nearly a perfectly played game, and you're still picking out things. I'm like, come on. Like, don't call yourself
actually the worst. Twitter is full of the worst people,
horrible.
And he's the worst.
Horrible. There's like, I wish Twitter had a section where you could just block everyone that interacts with their tweets. And then I just like, there's like a handful of people. It's just like, I would block everyone that agrees with those takes. Thank you. Same with Steve Simmons and a couple other people. It's like, oof.
Damien Cox.
Damien Cox.
Real bad.
My God, he's had some hits.
What's that Edmonton guy? The really old guy.
Not Spag.
No.
Like Twitter guy, you mean?
Yeah, I don't know. I'll think of it.
Archaeology guy there?
The archaeologist? Probably not.
No, his name is Matt Benning, something like that.
I don't know.
Unless you're thinking of something different. Regardless, Edmonton doesn't matter.
Peter Chiarelli.
They're trying. Peter Chiarelli. That's who it was. Big Twitter guy, Peter Chiarelli. What do I got left on the Leafs? Oh, that Dermott fight. I find this the funniest thing because it was a horrible fight. Don't get me wrong. Like, he got his ass beat, but like people are screaming for someone to show a little bit of grit and show a little bit of force and stand up for yourself. He finally does that, and people are like, "Yeah, well, he did it wrong. He got his ass kicked." No shit, he got his ass kicked. Like, this team's not built to fight.
You're clamoring for somebody to fight, and then they fight, and you're like, "Oh my God, what is this?"
Yeah. He can't fight. Yeah, we know he can't fight. That's why he doesn't fight. Like, there's a reason they didn't have a fighting major until that game. Yeah. It's because they can't fight, man. They're not built to. They're built to score.
It's the longest the Leafs have ever gone into a season without a 5-minute fighting major.
31 games?
Yeah. Also, last game, we were talking about Greg Millen earlier. Did you see when Kapanen and Beagle at the end of the game?
Yeah.
And Millen's like yelling into the mic. Like, he was taking a bite out of it, and he's like, "That's team toughness. That's team toughness." Like, no, it's not. It's hairdo putting somebody in a headlock.
Good for him, though. I'm glad he did that. But
oh yeah, I like Kapanen, what he does, but
worst announcer in the league.
Oh my God, he's so bad.
Awful.
Him and Craig Simpson together.
Jack Edwards. Jack Edwards is.
I would rather have Jack Edwards, because if you're a Boston fan, you love Jack Edwards.
Yeah.
Come on.
No, you shouldn't. You shouldn't, because.
But he's such a homer, man. such a homer, though. He loves the Boston Bruins, which is something you cannot say out of anyone in our broadcast.
You wouldn't rather listen to Joe Bowen?
I'd rather listen to Joe Bowen.
Yeah. He's a Leafs fan. Super biased.
Yeah, which is fine, man. Like if it's your regional broadcast, like I understand Hockey Night in Canada has to be a little different because it's a national broadcast. But if it's a regional broadcast, I don't want to listen to guys ragging on the Leafs. Like I'm here to watch the Leafs. I'm like, as a Leaf fan, I'm like,
Jim Houston's actually been really bad for it this year too, going against the Leafs. And like it's CBC, so like he's allowed to say what he wants. Obviously, he's not a Leafs guy. But like, did you see there was petitions to get him kicked off and stuff? And
well, then you wonder why all Leaf fans are so negative, right?
Oh yeah.
Like, that's what you hear the full game.
Because we can't have nice things, Mac.
Like, in all honesty, the majority of Leaf fans don't actually pay attention to games themselves. They just sit there and they listen to what they hear from other people. And
no, not even. They just, the next morning on their way to work, they listen to whatever's on, and then
but when you hear the broadcasters going on about how the team doesn't do this and the team needs this and that and this and that, like the big thing was the backup goalie. You know how many times I've heard that backup goalie argument of like last year the Leafs had 21 points from their backup goalie and they were that was the least in the playoffs. I'm like, man, that is so irrelevant. Like, yeah, okay, it probably helped to get some points at your backup goalie, but like, who cares? Freddie's on such a good point pace that it really doesn't matter that much, and you're probably going to get some wins. But I've heard that argument out of everyone on Twitter, on Sportsnet, on this, on that. So like, it's all you hear right now. And it's like, you know what? It's really not that big a deal. But because these guys are running with it because they're trying to find something to rag on the Leafs about, it's brutal. I hate it.
I heard one of them say their power play is still not great. Teams are afraid to take penalties against them right now. They're 35.7% power play since Keefe took over. They're 90.9% on the PK, which, by the way, no team is over 90% on the season this year. And overall, Toronto is still 77% on the penalty kill.
Yeah.
They've been just
ridiculous.
Even just like looking at it from an eye test, like base level, is there a 5-man unit you'd rather have out there? I'd say Washington's is up there. I'd probably give it the edge to them. Colorado,
Pittsburgh,
maybe.
When healthy is close, I think, too.
Tampa, when rolling.
Pittsburgh, Tampa. And that's your top 5 right there. Like, what more do you want than a top 5 power play?
Boston's pretty good, too. Yeah. There's a lot of good power plays right now. But, yeah, Toronto is right up there with that 5-man unit right now. Top 5.
If you're looking at Colorado up until like last week, they didn't really have the pieces that you're like, this is a top 5 power play. Because, they have McKinnon and McCarr.
No, but all healthy, but like just throwing 5 guys out there.
Yeah, up until last week, or 2 weeks ago, it was kind of like we're still above Colorado, like name-wise on your power play.
Yeah.
Which is, it's ridiculous. This is kind of off the broadcaster thing a little bit, but sticking with it is Dave Poulin the other day when he said Matthews isn't a star in this league yet. I'm like, oh, okay. The guy's on pace for 50. He's got 3 straight 40-goal seasons. But you're right. He's not good.
There's times when I can genuinely say, as a Leafs fan, Matthews had a bad game.
Yep, 100%.
There's times where he looks like he's not doing anything.
Yep.
And I have no problem saying that. But don't give me that he's not a star yet. The only active player who was able to score 100 even-strength goals quicker than Matthews, who did that the other night, was Ovechkin, and it took him 1 less game. Ovechkin scores goals. He's pretty good. Don't know if you heard. The next closest was McDavid, and he was 30 more games.
Also has off games, by the way.
It happens.
That's what happens when you're a goal scorer. It doesn't go in every game.
Ovechkin's gone on stretches lately, like not this season, but like in previous seasons, where it's like, oh, is he done? Because he'll go on stretches where the guy can't put the puck in the net.
Yeah, and then he'll put 20 in a month, and people will be like, oh, yeah. Because that's what happens.
Ovechkin.
Scoring is the hardest thing to do. That's why you get paid the most for it. And Matthews will go 2 weeks with maybe, say, 2 goals, and they're like, Matthews not a star. Let's trade him to Arizona now before he walks there in 5 years.
Was it 3 or 4 games that Matthews went without a goal, and people were like, oh, he's done. He's a bust. He's overrated. And, it's like, dude, it's 4 games. Then he comes up and scores 2 straight. It's like, what? It's brutal. What broadcast do you guys prefer? Because I've seen this argument a lot. TSN or Sportsnet?
I don't like either of them.
No? If you had to pick one.
I'm a TSN guy.
Yeah, TSN.
Yeah, see,
I like James Duffy. I like O-Dog. Bob McKenzie's nice to have on there.
Yeah.
And I love Ray Ferraro. Ray Ferraro and Mike Johnson. Two of my favorite guys.
I think that's where TSN takes the win for me, is in like the in-game stuff.
Yeah.
But like I think Elliot Friedman and Chris Johnson both trump pretty much anything that TSN is throwing at you. Like Bob McKenzie, maybe, but like I think just
I
straight.
like Jeff Merrick a lot too.
Yeah, Jeff Merrick's really good. David Amber's not bad, but like
I think
not fantastic.
he's the next Ron McLean. Book it right
Yeah.
now.
They shaped it after TSN though. Friedman is McKenzie.
Yeah.
Merrick is Duthie. They have
They don't have a Dave Poulin, sadly. I guess Burke.
God.
We're going with X.
That's the one thing. That's the one thing where Sportsnet loses a lot of points is Brian Burke for me because
but I mean TSN has Dave Poulin.
Yeah, they both have their own.
Poulin is hands down the worst NHL GM ever, I would say.
Horrible. You know what's the funniest thing with Dave Poulin too is the broadcast before Babcock got fired. They went on the quiz and they're like, "What is the percentage chance that he finishes the season?" And he went off the board with an answer and said 100%. There's no way this guy's getting fired. He lasts the year. Blah 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 blah. Gets fired 2 days later. A week later, they do the next broadcast. Guy doesn't show up. Doesn't even come out to the broadcast. It's like, attaboy. Stick by your guns.
He said 100% chance he'd be on the next show.
Yep. No. Brutal. Do you want to talk about Justin Holl a little bit? Because he's been really good.
I think he's looked great. And I saw you put in the doc that Barry, but I was talking. Well, Barry's been gross. There's no denying that. But I meant even back to when Babcock was there. Like Holl's looked good for like
been great all year.
He's been good for a good month now. He's just solid two-way right now. Like he had 2 assists last night. I like he was in the press box all last year. I honestly didn't know much about how he played until this year. Yeah. And I've been very impressed with him. Two-way game. He's got a good active stick. He's a right-handed shot, which obviously we need, and he's not a bad skater. Snaps some breakout passes. He looks good.
Yeah, that's one thing where I don't agree with you. There's the breakout passes. That Muzzin Holl or whatever breakout pass combination is scary.
It's not good, but he'll make some good passes, and it's not Muzzin getting the puck out.
He's also a fairly mobile guy for his size. Like he's a bigger dude, but he can move his feet pretty well.
He's quick,
It helps him get the puck out from time to time. You see him jump up on the rush, and it's like, guys are mobile defense. I think the thing with him, he hasn't been the best defenseman on this team at any point of the year, but he's been consistently good. Like he's never had a game where you're like, oh, that was really bad from Justin Holl.
Is what you need from your cheap contracts at the bottom of your lineup.
Exactly. Like, because I think there's times when you could say, there's definitely times you could say Riley's been really bad. There's definitely times you could say Tyson Barrie. There's definitely times you could say Tyson Barrie's been really bad. Jake Muzzin, same thing for me. I've seen times where he's been really bad lately.
Dermott missed a ton of time.
Dermott, Dermott's been streaky coming back, which is understandable. He's coming back from injury. So, I mean, you look at a guy like Justin Holl, it's like he's been consistent the entire year, and that's something you need if you're the Leafs.
I will say on Dermott, though, last night's game, he played 12:25 of even strength time, and I think he had 30 seconds. I don't know if it was PK or power play, whatever.
Got
30 seconds, but yeah. He was on the ice for 80% expected goals for the Leafs when he was on the ice. That's disgusting.
He's so good.
Maybe time we start giving him a few more minutes here.
Yeah. I like... One thing we haven't actually mentioned in this entire podcast yet, we haven't mentioned Cody Cece's name once. Except for the one time we tried to trade him. But
he played 16 minutes.
Okay. But like this is a lot less than what we were saying about Cody Cece earlier in the year when it's like this guy's the worst defenseman you've ever seen.
Still sucks.
Sure, but he's sheltered and it's not as bad right now.
It isn't as bad, no, but he still does not understand defensive coverage.
No.
He will his stick's just floating and he takes the wrong guy every time.
Yeah. That's fair.
It's not bad for a somewhat defensive defenseman to go unheard of in a game, though.
Yeah. No.
Because you're not supposed to be noticed as a good defensive player.
Which is what he's kind of done for me in the last games. Yikes. No, for me, it's just like Cody Cece, I haven't really noticed as much. I guess it helps that he's not playing as many minutes. But like you're not like, oh my God, look at Cody Cece out there being an absolute pylon.
Yeah, if he's standing out, it's a bad thing, in my opinion. Yeah. Because he's not offensively gifted. So
Does it absolutely suck that you're paying him $4.5 million to be your third pairing defenseman?
yeah.
Sure, but that's the price you got to pay. You had to get rid of that Zaitsev contract, and he's a free agent at the end of the year, so who cares? Does it cripple you a little bit? Maybe, but whatever.
Literally the only positive thing I can say about CC, other than he's getting less minutes, is that he wears a girdle instead of actual pants, and it just looks cool. He's the only guy with pant shells, so it just looks cool.
He's a nice guy. Like,
I don't care.
Everything I've seen about Cody Ceci, he just seems like such a good guy. But
we thought Mike Babcock was a nice guy.
You know who's not a nice guy? Jim Montgomery.
Oh, good transition.
No, we do not.
Oh yeah, man, this is killing me.
Tough.
I really want to know what the hell is going on there.
The players still said this morning they hadn't been told, which I find it crazy.
So, well, did you see what he said?
Who? Montgomery?
Yeah.
No.
Yeah, let me pull it. You keep talking, I'll pull it up.
All right, so Jim apparently said something.
Jim Nill,
we don't know what.
Jim Nill is the GM?
Yeah,
okay, so he went out, he did that press conference, and he said it wasn't related to the play of the team, like absolutely not related to the play of the team. It has nothing to do with current players or past players. It has nothing to do with criminal investigation or something else. I forget the other one he said. But I'm like, okay, that just kind of covered all four bases of misconduct. Like, what did this guy do?
I don't want to start any rumors, Mac, if he has something to add about what he said, but the two tweets that I've seen rumored a lot are gambling and just drinking.
Really?
If it was gambling, that's hilarious to me.
Yeah, like
I said to Mac, like, that's why they scratched Radulov. He's like, oh, we're minus 200 tonight. Let's go alternate puck line. Scratch Radulov. We'll start the backup, and here we go.
Like that. In theory, I guess that would make sense. Like if that's what's going on.
I'm sure it's not.
But what else can it be? Like, it's nothing to do with the players or criminal investigations or just he's not like I've heard from a lot of guys that like he's a good guy to play for because like I've heard that
loved him.
Loved him. I've heard that on Chicklets numerous times where like guys love playing for Jim Montgomery. I'm like, okay, so
he's been their assistant coach, Rick Bonus, I think his name is, the guy replacing him. He was like so surprised by it. He's like, honestly, I haven't ran a bench in over 16 years, so I told the boys to be patient with me tonight. We might be in for a tough one. It's like, oh, we're inspiring confidence.
No
I
shit.
See. Okay.
Like, hey, they won 2-0. I mean,
oh yeah.
Shut up. A really good team. I mean, they don't really need the head coach, but like that's just it better be something ridiculous because like a lot of everything he listed off, I'm like, those are legitimate reasons to fire someone. I don't know what else you could have done that
most bases.
Yeah, and it's like, okay, so I understand why a lot of other guys are getting fired, and like they all fit into these things. I'm like, I get that. Jim Montgomery didn't do any of those things, and at a time where like we're trying to keep good coaches in the game,
and this is a good coach. I thought I saw they were 16-4-2 in the last 22 after a tough start that like he didn't get fired.
He's turned it around, and like he's been a really good coach as of late, and the players love him, and there's no rumors on him doing anything ridiculous. So like, what? Why? Did you have something, Mac, or was it?
It's not a whole lie. I guess he just said somebody had asked him about his firing. He said, "I'm not talking," and then he asked, "Will he ever speak about it?" And they said, "There will be a time." So,
okay, so we might find out eventually.
Yeah. There was also a podcast. I forget what it was called. He was on it last week. It was I don't know, like nothing huge. Maybe a competitor of ours. No name dropping. And everybody was like retweeting it after he got fired, and everybody was just like, "This guy sounds absolutely hammered." It was it was a game day, like an afternoon, and they were like, "This guy's pinned. Like, what is he talking about?" And I think that's where a lot of the rumors started.
Yeah, apparently it's not because of that. The team, when I was looking it up, that it said not because of the radio interview or whatever.
Good.
Yeah. So that's cool.
So I'm just throwing out random things that aren't true here. So I keep that rolling.
Well, I wonder where rumors. I just really want someone to leak it, man. Like this has been killing me. Like, how do you get fired and not be doing anything wrong?
There's a bunch of funny things on Twitter about just like stupid things that were made up about it. Yeah. And one guy was like, "Sources are telling me that Jim Montgomery had just purchased a Peloton for his wife over the weekend."
Yeah, you can't have that. That ain't it, Chief. Holy shit! I just think it's rich to hear like misconduct coming from a guy like Jim Nill, who
Especially
literally called out his players last year for being was the exact quote? It was like complete horseshit or something.
no, that
like
was
that?
the owner. That was the owner.
Okay,
yeah.
sorry.
But so this happened the day after Bettman came out and talked about like the coach's conduct programs they're going to go through and stuff.
Yeah.
As well, Jim Nill was Ken Holland's assistant GM when Babcock was the coach in Detroit. Are we really putting him in the good guy group here?
No.
I don't know.
No, he's trying to save face a little bit, I think.
Anyway, the best part about all this is that Pete DeBoer also got the boot.
Yeah.
And the quote coming out of San Jose was, "Nothing to do with conduct, we're just bad at hockey."
A bad coach.
Like that. Good way to put it.
How
There's no
brutal is it
question
that you have to specify that, like, listen, he's a good guy, but we just suck at hockey and we need to fire him right now.
Is it his fault that team is old?
No, he didn't age the team.
Martin Jones is not a good goalie. I know I had him for start of the week.
Say that. Yeah, he had. Hey, even my quote was,
he's in his high point.
One good week. He has one good stretch of the season that forced him into a playoff spot.
Yeah.
The rest of it's crap. When was the last time he had a plus 900 save percentage in a season?
Probably last.
It wasn't. I don't think he had.
Minor midget.
Started off shit, and that was
2015, 2016. Just looked it up.
2015, 16, you said?
Pretty sure.
Oh, good goalie then. That's the last time he's been above 900.
On an
you said?
aging team with offensive defensemen that do not like to play defense, that's what you want. Him as a starter.
Piece of Swiss cheese. You said above 900?
Did I mistake that? It was last year for sure.
No, that makes sense. Really, that is frighteningly low. Because like if you're looking at guys that are like 9'10s, you're like, okay, that's decent as a backup, but like you don't want a 9'10 out of your starter.
The 9'10 is decent nowadays with like scoring so high. Like even like penalty kills back in the day, you had like 91, 92 as your top teams.
Yeah.
And like that's going down. Even power play is going up too, right? So it's kind of and I guess scoring is going up, save percentage is going to go down, but still like
when your average
900,
when your average team age is 84, I think you need a little bit better than 900 out of your goalie.
When you're paying your defense core $33.5 million, and your forward core $37.5 million, so you know a $4 million difference.
Guys.
Yeah. Oh. You should be putting up better numbers defensively.
Yeah.
114 goals against, which is good for a second in the league behind only Detroit, who has 67 goals for and 129 against. They're just disgusting.
So they're minus 62 right now, goal differential. Entire last year, LA was the worst goal differential team. They were minus 60.
This is Detroit talking about now, by the way.
Yeah.
Yeah. LA last year. So Detroit's goal differential already is worse than LA's all of last year.
In 32 games.
Yeah. It's December. Yeah.
Their average loss is minus, like their average game is minus 2.
Oh, yeah. Just to wrap it back into the whole coaching thing here, because this tally goes up every time a coach gets fired. We're now at 5 coach firings since the last time Detroit won a game.
I think, aren't we at 5 coaching firings since Don Cherry got fired too?
Oh, yeah. But that's also been a while. Detroit hasn't won
a
hockey game since
it was a month ago on Sunday, so 30 days from Sunday that Don Cherry got fired. And just think of the amount of shit that's happened since then. It feels like it's been so long that he's been gone, and it's been a month. Absolutely wild. On that Detroit point, though, did you see what the record is for the goal differential?
I don't want to know. I would guess early 2000s.
It was the I think it was the expansion team, Washington Capitals, that won 8 games.
I was going to say Washington. I wasn't sure if it would be Washington or Minnesota.
I don't have the exact number in front of me anymore, but it was like minus 256 or something like that.
What was that, 80 something?
I believe 83, 84 or something like that. But yeah, 8-win team, minus 256. Detroit right now, as bad as they've been, they're still on pace for like a minus 104, something like that. So like they'd have to be historically bad. Like they've already got 7 wins.
That's right. They're now on pace for minus 158.
Is it?
Yeah.
I mean, we're 30 games in. They're minus 162 or minus 62. So yeah.
Yeah. It's roughly double. Roughly double.
Oh. Yeah, that's rough. That's rough. Good.
Yeah.
Good
Still not
Love it.
256.
That's what happens when
No.
you have Jimmy Howard and Jonathan Bernier in net. Stats prove it.
Yeah, and one of them gets hurt on top of that.
And the other one has
inside
diarrhea.
Yeah. Yikes. But I mean, this is what they wanted to be, right? They wanted to be bad, and they're doing a good job of it.
Stevie Yzerman, baby.
The guy knows how to be a GM, and it's gonna look real nice when they have Lafreniere or Byfield on their team.
I pray they lose the draft lottery. That
How
would
fun
make
would that
my
be?
day.
They drop
if they
a
slid to fourth, and then, well, they take like
which isn't even bad, but it's just it's a good draft, but it's not.
Chicago just goes up another 8 spots to number 1. That'd be
typical.
No,
Give it
dude.
to Chicago or Edmonton, like we do with everything.
No, Tampa's taking both of them. Was what's happening. Because I forget whose first round pick they have, but they're
Carolina's getting. Carolina
Vancouver.
And Tampa are getting them from Vancouver's pick and our pick.
So
somehow
Tampa has Vancouver's pick, and when they miss the playoffs this year, they're going to have their own pick, and both those are going to end up 1-2 in the lottery, and Tampa's going to end up with Lafreniere and Byfield, and they're going to win the cup the year after.
Except Tampa's plus 12, 2 points out of a playoff spot, on fire, and has 3 games in hand.
I don't know about on fire. But they lost to the Ottawa Senators.
Yeah, true, but they have been a lot better lately.
They've been up and down. Like I'm still really confused on what this team is, because they've shown flashes where they pump teams, and then they show up and they're just dog shit.
And everybody wants to point to the goaltending because the points are there offensively, but that's because they have 6-1 games where they get their points. There's games where they don't score.
No.
Minnesota worked them, didn't they? Ottawa beat them.
I'm pulling up the schedule.
Hasn't been
I know
great, but...
So Florida, they won 2-1. Like that's not you scored 2 goals in a win. That's not incredible. Then you lost 5-1 in New York. You only scored 1 goal. Then you have that game against San Jose where you pump them 7-1. They lose 5-4 to Minnesota. Like, you scored 4 goals. That's fine. You only win 3-2 in Nashville, 3-2 against or you lose 3-2 against Carolina, 4-3 against Washington, 4-3 against St. Louis. Like, you're not putting up that many goals. Like, it's yikes. That team scares me a little bit.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Speaking of the Senators, shout out to Ron Hainsey, 1,100 games tonight.
Whew.
Guys made a living by not being able to skate very well.
Yeah. Incredible defensively, though. And he scored a gorgeous goal in the Stanley Cup. Yeah. Oh, incredible human being.
Uncle Ron.
Do you ever see, I think I might have brought it up on this podcast, but his interview when they were talking about why he went to Ottawa?
No.
So they interviewed and they're like, oh, so why was Ottawa your choice and why'd you end up going there? And he goes, do you see how much they're paying me? Fair enough.
So we're on pace for the highest scoring season since 2005-2006.
It's because the pucks are juiced. Shout out MLB.
The seams are tighter on the puck. Is that what it is? Nice. Just coming off quicker.
Yeah.
Goalie pads are smaller. The ice is more slick. The flex in the stick isn't as high as it says it is. We have not made it through anything. We got a lot left to cover.
We got sidetracked a bunch.
Yeah, we don't do that much, eh? We're on a
Jack Eichel.
Jack Eichel. Not a man that's distracted. He's on a 14-game point streak now. He's got 12 goals and 25 points in that 14-game point streak.
I said he's underrated.
It helps when guys are literally skating out of the way for him to drive the net.
That was wild.
God,
what was Robert Thomas doing?
Pietrangelo was like,
Pietrangelo's directing him. Yeah. So Eichel's behind the net, and Pietrangelo literally points. He goes, cover that guy, and points away from where Jack Eichel is. I'm like, okay. So he skates away from Jack Eichel, and Jack Eichel's like, thank you. Roofs it. I'm like, what? Okay, cool. Thanks,
it's not the first time this season Eichel's been left alone like that either. It's happened like 3 or 4 times on the streak. It's insane.
Those funny pictures where there always seems to be like 4 guys away from the play and 1 guy wide open are always for or against Buffalo. Because Buffalo is just wild.
Yeah, there was that one a few years ago where there were like 5 guys in a train circling the exact same tight corner.
Wasn't the Vancouver 3-0 in the overtime?
Yeah.
That was Buffalo, wasn't it?
No, wasn't that St. Louis?
Yeah, it was
Was
St.
this,
Louis.
oh, it
It was
was
St. Louis because two guys.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay. I thought it was Buffalo.
So
but
it's always one of those two teams.
Yeah. I was gonna say though, Mac had that take. What was it? Our second episode when he said Jack Eichel was a bit was kind of overrated.
He's so
and
underrated.
I laughed at it, but like I think he might be underrated in the players group because they're just leaving him wide open and letting him undress everyone. And I'm like, because I don't think a lot of fans underrate him. Like I
don't think anybody realizes how good he is.
No,
He's
but I
on
think
pace
for the
for
longest
112
time,
points.
for the longest time, he was like up there. People were considering him like top 10, and he was never really a top 10 forward. Like he was really good, but like he was never.
They were projecting it. I would agree with that. They were
Yeah,
projecting it
so-
because he kept getting hurt.
Yeah, like I don't think anyone ever thought he was worse than he is. I think this year might be the first year where it's like, well, okay, well he hasn't really shown us anything, and then he shows up and he shows us this, and it's like, oh, okay, Jack Eichel.
There's
Legit.
I don't know if you follow Cam Robinson. He's like a big scouting guy from Vancouver on Twitter. He tweeted out a couple weeks ago. He was like, after the McDavid and Eichel draft, I said that Eichel was the second best prospect in the last 10 drafts. And looking back on it, McKinnon takes that.
Yeah.
But after that, Eichel is going to be the third best player from, if you want to say, those 10 years draft class.
From
Eichel's that good,
McDavid
man.
back,
10 years back, yeah.
Kane.
I think that would be the 11th year.
I think that's.
No.
Maybe
Maybe he said like 9 years because I don't know.
It was
but either way,
before
it was
Kane.
around there, and like, yeah, I think it's very reasonable. Like Jack
There's-
Eichel is amazing, man.
I think your argument is Eichel and Matthews for that next spot, and I think he
Eichel.
beats Matthews.
Eichel
I
every
think,
day.
yeah, that's what I was gonna say. I think he beats Matthews, especially right now, because I'd say he's better both ends of the ice. I don't know if he's got the shot that Matthews has, obviously.
I think he
But-
does. It's
No,
damn
It's
close.
different.
It's damn
it's
close.
Different. It's different.
Yeah.
It's a
Yeah.
very different style, but
There's
the
more
way he
power.
snaps that thing, yeah.
There's more power. Not as accurate. More power.
No. Yeah. He's
Yeah.
a good player, man.
He's not
He's
bad.
fast.
He's okay.
He's deceivingly fast too. He's a weird
Yeah.
stride, but he's fast.
Yeah.
While we're speaking of all these young stars, comparing them, did you see that graphic NHL.com put out the other day where they were like, maybe it was NHL and NBC, which one of these 5 defensemen would you start a franchise with?
Oh, okay. Maybe.
All over 30 years old.
It was Chara, Burns, Carlson. I don't even remember who else.
I think
But-
Hedman was one of them.
Both Carlsons, Hedman,
Yeah.
Chara, Burns, maybe.
John and
It was start a team. Chara's 55. Like, what is this? What? Starting a team in what?
I'm not starting the team next year because he's going to retire, so that doesn't really work.
could I go off the board
Yeah.
and pick Dale McCarr? Or...
Somebody
like
quoted
a-
it and they were like,
That's-
I'm going to swap
none of
out
the above?
3 of these for Heiskanen, Dahlin, or 4, Hughes and McCarr.
Yeah.
Make it an actual debate.
Dude, Hughes is so good. I kind of brushed by that in
He's
the
the
league
best
talk.
Hughes. He's the best
So
Hughes,
good.
but-
Yep. Fight me on it, Mac.
2 years older. That's fine.
Doesn't matter.
Age is
Same-
just a number.
Same
Brad was
amount
never
of
good
years in
at
the
math.
NHL. Nope. Doesn't matter.
Yeah,
Quinn's
except for
a
the
better
10
player.
games last year. And
Doesn't matter. Didn't count. Warm up.
In Luke.
Jack is
Jack
getting
can't stay healthy.
so unlucky this year. He's not.
He honestly is. And he's still on pace for almost 40 points. People are ripping him for no reason. And
He is
I'm kidding
so
when I
good.
say like
he is
this.
so good.
Him and
Obviously,
Quinn
we're
are the
not.
same. I think they're the same player, just one's forwards, one's defense. Like
Yeah.
it's how agile they are with the puck. It's ridiculous.
He'll go down and just control the whole play, make a pass across, and it'll just go under the guy's stick. I'm like,
He's got filthy talent. Like that's the one thing.
it's like
it hasn't-
he's still too far ahead of his own teammates.
Line mates. Yeah.
Yeah. In the NHL, which is hilarious.
Yeah.
He's also playing on New Jersey, so it's
Yeah, exactly. That's huge right now. Like
yeah.
he was just Quinn. Goes down the ice and finds Pedersen this side, Besser this side.
Or
Yeah, it's a
Tyler
little,
Myers.
little easier for him. The one thing, sticking with New Jersey real quick, the big thing on the Taylor Hall trade, we touched on it last week, was Colorado's real interested in it, right?
Yep.
And I've heard some conversation on it, and people are saying, people that don't know Colorado's system or know what their draft system looks like, they're all like, oh, it has to start with Bowen Byram or it's Alex Newhook to have, right? That's what I'm saying. I'm like, I heard that take, and I'm like, no chance in hell am I giving away. Is it Newhook to have or Caulfield?
New Hook.
Newhook.
Caulfield's in
So-
Montreal.
Yeah. So they're saying it has to start with one, maybe both. I'm like, no chance in hell does it start with either.
The only way Byram's name is even remotely mentioned is if it's a guaranteed signing.
I still
when he
don't
gets
care.
traded there. I'm
And
still not doing it.
And it'll be Newhook, not Byram.
Yeah.
There's not
no
a
chance in
chance
hell
they
it's
trade
not-
Byram.
No.
For a rental. He's gonna be a rental, and maybe he resigns in Colorado, but like he's what 31? Am I wrong?
Oh, 20, 28, 29.
Yeah, he's younger than that.
I thought he hit 30.
He's
already.
under 30, I think.
Okay,
Yeah.
so
He still goes to
even
Boots and
still-
Hearts with Kurt.
So-
Let's hope he's under 30.
Yeah,
that was like 5 years ago. So
at the bottom of the article there, I saw one rumor of a trade, and it was Bowers, Shane Bowers, Connor
Okay.
Timmins, a conditional second round pick, which becomes a first if Holl.
You know what?
resigns.
yeah, I look at that. If I'm Colorado, that I don't hate that because like
And
Bowers
that-
and
that's-
Timmins are good prospects, but
That first is a lot, but it's the same as the Duchesne deal. Literally the same because Bowers is in it again. But it's the same because if he resigns, then you're getting up to that.
cool,
first
you have
and-
Taylor Hall,
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly.
which is
First
fine,
overall
and then
pick.
you
Yeah.
still have Byram and
Exactly.
Newhook coming up.
Exactly. There,
Like-
if he gets traded there will be conditional picks because there's no other way to do it.
Yeah.
The one thing I heard too is like, oh, you don't know what Bowen Byram is, you know what Taylor Hall is. But do you know what Taylor Hall is?
He's fast.
Yeah.
Can put the puck away.
Right, but he's also
There's not-
aging.
There's
in
not a
sense, and
chance
he's
he
been-
puts up less than 60 in the next 3 years playing with any of those guys.
Yeah, but
But he's
you
not
say
going
that
to
of
play with
a lot
any of
of
those
guys.
three guys. I
No.
can't break into that line.
No,
Yeah,
why
but
would
you don't think Kadri, Donskoy, Hall is a good line?
Yeah, but so is Paul
Yeah,
Murray and Hughes.
Thank you.
Is he with Hughes right now?
No, but he
No.
was, and he
Hughes
wasn't
is
putting
hurt.
up points.
I have Paul Mary in fantasy, and he's been buzzing.
Paul Mary is just like quietly good every year, but nobody ever talks about him.
He's got a nasty shot.
Yeah, trying to
But
pull
also,
up Taylor.
I don't
Okay.
know. I feel like Colorado would throw other people in ahead of Timmins. Like he's had a real good progression since he was drafted.
Yep.
He had a concussion issue, and then he's really put it together the last couple of years. But
But at the same time, you also have Kale McCarr, Samuel Girard, Bowen Byram,
Yeah.
Wouldn't Zadorov.
wouldn't they try and trade a roster player if they could? Because expansion draft time, they're
Who would you
losing.
take? I wouldn't
Eric-
take
Eric
that
Johnson.
if I'm New Jersey. I wouldn't take it if
But
I'm
if they're
New Jersey.
going for something,
If they're banking on signing him, their window's not this year. It's this year and the next couple of years.
Man, they have a serious shot of winning the cup this year though.
Oh yeah,
with the roster they have. So I don't know if I'd take something out of that to be like, well, let's compete next year instead. Right? I think
I
you're
would
bringing
I would if it meant you were guaranteed signing Hall.
but like if you keep the roster and you just
You're losing
add Taylor
Eric
Hall to
Johnson
it,
and adding Taylor Hall.
sure, but if you
Johnson's
just keep
so good defensively.
yeah.
I don't care.
If you keep this roster
That's
and you
overrated.
add Taylor Hall,
Taylor
you
Hall.
have if they keep this roster and add Taylor Hall, are they not the Stanley Cup favorite?
No,
Who is?
Boston, Washington.
Point percentage, they're like 1 point off of being the same as Boston, and I think 2 points back of Washington.
Washington's ahead of them. Washington just beat Boston tonight, so they're a
Two-
bit further
two
ahead again.
Two
I
games.
had
That'd be
money
three
line.
games in hand then, I think.
I had money line.
Because I'm pretty sure Colorado
Cup
played
favorite
30.
means more to me than President's Trophy winner, though.
I think
Have we seen Colorado play good in the playoffs?
Last
year.
Yeah, but like it's sustained deep run.
They only didn't make it to the next round because of a bullshit call on the offside.
Yeah, I agree with that.
Like they
I-
were.
Seven.
I'm
Game seven.
absolutely taking Boston and Washington over Colorado in the playoffs this year.
I'd take
Wait.
Colorado over
Yeah.
Boston, not Washington.
No, Washington's good.
I still don't think Boston has the depth.
No, to like, they're built to be a playoff team because they're all big and rough and they play playoff hockey, but their depth is ass.
I'm still taking a healthy St. Louis over Colorado.
Yeah, but they're not going to be a healthy St. Louis.
Well, they better
I
be
doubt
if they want to beat
Tarasenko will be
Colorado.
back. I doubt Tarasenko will be back.
I'm with Mac on that. I don't know, man. I think Colorado's the team to beat out of the West for sure, and if they're not the favorite, they're at least the 2 for me.
Arizona Coyotes.
Same amount of points. Same amount of points. Darcy Kemper, just gross. Love
Actually, Colorado's one ahead. Just saying.
Are they ahead now?
Yeah, Arizona.
I
They
think
have
the
41.
last time I checked, they were.
They lost in overtime.
Yeah.
They got that
Okay.
soccer point.
Love it. Holy shit, we're still on like the third item. Brady Tkachuk, did you guys see the fine?
I didn't like it.
Oh, but you didn't like the fine, or you didn't like the play?
I didn't like the play.
Okay, so here's my beef with the play: is your team is down 1 goal with 36 seconds left? I think it happened. You have your goalie pulled. You're closer to their end. Like, yes, they have possession, I think, but you're closer to their end of the ice, and you go and you pull a bonehead move like that with a chance to tie the game. Like, I know Ottawa's not really playing to win, but they're winning, and they like to win games. They like to win games, and this is what you're doing. I'm like, dude, if this is what you do when your team actually competes for games, that's just stupid.
Okay, so Lawton was the guy who scored the go-ahead goal. He was taunting the bench as he went by. That's where it all started from Tkachuk's
started
defense.
Long before that, though, because there was
there was beef earlier. That's what I'm saying. This is
someone got hit earlier. Yeah, like
that's what's going through Tkachuk's head. I didn't like the cross-check. I don't like jumping on the guy after you just cross-checked him in a 1-goal game.
For me, the cross-check wasn't as big, but like you.
Well, that's what the fine was for.
Yeah,
the fine was for cross-checking. That's what I don't get.
Stupid. Like, the cross-check sucks. I don't like it, but like it's gonna happen. Like, he's pissed off. He comes, gives him a shot. Fine, whatever. But then you kind of like lower level Todd Bertuzzi the guy and jump on him and start pounding on him. Like, it's not to the extent that Bertuzzi did it.
That's the third time we've had a Todd Bertuzzi comparison come up. They've all been wild.
Really?
Wild. Yeah.
We've had 3? Oof. But like it's similar in the sense that like
you.
Yeah, maybe. he comes from behind him and just like he just starts filling him in. I'm like, what? The guy doesn't even see. Like, if you think you're so tough, square off with him. Lawton will do it. Well, Lawton's not a guy.
So
oh yeah, not a. He looks like what was Don Cherry's dog? Looks like one of those.
Pitbull or whatever.
It's like it was not pretty. It looks like that.
Yeah.
No, looks like one of those things.
Wow.
Yeah.
Anyway.
All in all, he earned the fine. I don't know if he would have earned a suspension for that.
First time offender.
Yeah.
We know the inconsistencies that happen in that office, so
yeah. Don't expect it. The fines. I saw people complaining about the fine. It's like it's the max you can give them. Like, it's 50%.
It was the 16 Ottawa fans.
Yeah. They're diehards though. Those 16, they love it. That team's good, man. They're performing. They're gonna be good soon.
6 years.
They're fun. Which one of you guys put the Elliot Friedman stuff in? I didn't see it.
Me. So in his podcast this week, or podcast notes, I guess I read, he was talking.
You don't talk about competitors.
He quickly mentioned that.
Competitors.
he quickly said, this guy with the podcast just quickly talked about something. Now, Elliot Friedman of Sportsnet talked about the World Cup being shelved for 2021, which was announced by the NHL this week.
Yep.
He said, don't be surprised if that All-Star game is a 3-on-3 mini World Cup style format. So I kind of did. Sorry,
correct. The 2021 game would be, or this one coming up?
21.
I would assume 2021.
Okay.
That All-Star.
The only thing. Yeah. Okay.
Which I think would be super cool.
Yeah, except Canada would dominate it.
So I've talked about this with Nick already, and like Czech Republic sucks. So mix them in with Europe, basically.
You do that Europe team again?
Yes.
Like you did for the World Cup?
Yeah, because I'd say 8 teams, and you play you put them in 2 divisions. You play 2 games each Friday, 2 games each Saturday, and then you have your kind of like semis and gold medal games on Friday or Sunday or whatever. That's kind of what I would figure they would do. Take the skills competition out because whatever, this is way better.
Because no one cares unless it's a speed race between McDavid and McKinnon.
Yeah. Hardest shot.
So you have your Canada, U.S., Sweden, Finland, Russia are your 5 nations that are actually going to be able to put up good teams.
Yeah.
And then I said Europe, which is the same as last time. Same with Team North America under 23. And then I'm kind of doing like a wild card thing here, but I'm saying under 23 Europe. as well.
You think they have enough guys to do that?
Oh yeah, listen.
Yeah. So I did it the same format as they do right now: 6 forwards, 3 defensemen, 2 goalies.
Oh, right. It's a 3-on-3 tournament, right?
Yeah.
This is your forward group: Rantanen, Pasternak, Aho, Ehlers, Pedersen, Laine.
Not
Your
bad.
decor: Dahlin, Heiskanen, Provorov. With
Not bad.
goalies kind of like Samsonov, and then I just kind of looked up the best European goalie that was under 23, Annunen, he was a Colorado Avalanche prospect. And he's a Russian.
Russia would be included in the Europe?
I just kind of said basically rest of
the
the
wild
world.
card.
So you wouldn't give Russia their own, or like would you just kind of include Russia? Like would you have a Russian team, a European team, and then include the Russians in the under 23 European team?
Yes.
Is what you're saying? Okay.
Same with Sweden and Finland as well.
Okay.
They have their own teams.
Oh, so like all of them in the under 23. Okay.
Yeah.
That's okay. Now I'm cleared up. Got it.
Because I tried to do it with just the current Europe players under 23, and it was bad. It was like
Draisaitl.
It was basically Ehlers, Pasternak. That's it. and
that's gonna be tough to win.
Okay. But yeah, I don't know. It's a bunch of good teams. I'm gonna do a little bit of an article about it soon, and you can kind of take more of a look at that. But
little look into it. Yeah, so we won't say too much on it then. I like it. I think it's a cool idea. I still think Canada's set to dominate that.
I think the difference is that it's not a depth thing.
No.
And that's the thing is Canada rolls out 4 first lines. But if you're doing 6 forwards, 3D, that gives other teams a chance.
McDavid's will be 24 by that time, right?
23.
Is he 23?
I'm still Canadian here.
I thought he.
So I was doing it for this coming year.
Okay. Yeah.
So this is
past it
here.
out.
Yeah, past the Barzal, McDavid, Matthews will be out.
Yeah.
Marner will be out. Eichel will be out.
All those guys will be out. So it might be a little
Team
bit
USA might be gross. Now listening back on that, Brock Besser would be out of it too, right?
He would still be in it, I believe. So this is your Team North America under 23 if this year were to have an All-Star game like that.
Okay.
McDavid, Barzal, Matthews, Marner, Connor, and Eichel. And I considered changing Connor for
real quick before you keep going. Can we take in that was a team in that tournament and we were spoiled with that back then? Oh,
yeah.
I legitimately watched that overtime against Sweden once a month.
Add in that they also had McKinnon, Huberdeau, and Scheifele.
Yeah.
and more. Goudreau, I think.
Goudreau, Miller. Seth Jones, Riley.
JT Miller.
John Gibson, is he good?
Yeah, the guy's not bad.
So, if your defense, Shabbat, Makar, McAvoy, then Harden.
That would
Harden
also be
factor there.
They're all. Oh no, Shabbat's Canadian. I was gonna say, aren't the 3 of them American? But no, Shabbat was a beast in the World Junior team.
And Makar is also Canadian too.
So. Oh shit, yeah. I just think of Makar as an American because he plays in Colorado and he went through the NCAA and it's like Tyler Bozak for the same thing.
And Taves.
Yeah,
anybody from out west that goes to school.
Taves had that shootout, so he's just permanently Canadian in my mind.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah. Huh. So if these guys, because McDavid will age out by the time that one comes around, right? So then you're looking at a line of Crosby, McDavid, McKinnon, or I guess you need a D on that line, but maybe not.
Yeah. So I'd probably say at that point Burns wouldn't make the team just because he'd be a little bit too old. So I'd probably say either Riley or Barry with probably McKinnon and McDavid.
How? Cale Makar is not that close to that, right?
He's 21.
21 now? Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's interesting.
It's a lot of fun to think about.
Yeah,
Tune in the Max article.
It was so fun to do this today, but I might restructure it.
Productive day at work.
No, lunchtime. Don't worry about it.
Lunchtime.
Don't want that on the airwaves.
It's a real long lunch. Yeah, that'll be fun. I hope they do it. I think it's cooler than what the hell we have going on now. because I think at least if you do that, there's a little more like pride that you're fighting for, as opposed to $1 million split between 9 guys.
And that's what I added in there. Like, just the whole, I don't get canceling all these international things. We're so big into growing the game. Yeah. We have 3 of the best generational players right now, McDavid, Crosby, McKinnon. Like, you don't want to see them on the same team, Bettman? Like, give the people what they want.
Yeah.
It gets the people going.
Could you imagine McKinnon and McDavid playing together now? Like,
with
I know they did
in the
it.
middle, might be the 3 fastest skaters.
Like, I know they did it in the under 23 before, but like McKinnon wasn't McKinnon then. McKinnon is like, I would say it's McDavid and McKinnon 1-2 in the league.
Nate Dogg now.
Yeah. This is a different. This is no longer Nathan McKinnon. It's fun to think about. What is it?
That's it. Okay.
All right. What else do we want to touch on here?
Oh, I got a tweet from Dmitry Filipovich, just came out a little bit ago. Wanted to add in to back up our boy Brandon on John Carlson here. Here's primary points by defenseman this year, so no secondary assists. Get that out of here. Makar has 17. Hedman has 19. Hamilton has 22.
Okay.
That's your top 4 top 3 other than John Carlson, 33. He has 11 more primary points than the next highest defenseman.
That's because he's usually the last one to pass over Ovechkin on the power play too.
Yeah,
exactly.
That makes it a little easier.
For sure, but
I'm not taking any away from him. I'm just
secondary assists are big for defensemen because you're usually the guy snapping it up and then winger to center, whatever you want to say. But 33 primary points for defensemen. That's a season.
Wild. That's ridiculous.
That's a season for a top 4 defenseman.
It's December. It's early December. That's ridiculous.
Yeah.
There's a lot of parity in the league this year too, eh?
Yeah.
Like crazy.
There's only like maybe 4 teams that are like you could consider out of it right now. And
Detroit.
It's wild. Detroit is guaranteed one of them. LA might be another one. I think officially Ottawa still got a chance. Like, they're not even that far back.
The Devils do, but they don't.
But even like in the last 10 games for every team, only 2 teams have not been between 3 and 7 wins. So there's nobody like super dominating right now. There's not really any teams that are like really, really other than Detroit and the Devils right now. Like, that's insane. Within 4 wins of each other in the last 10 games, it's crazy.
Yeah,
that is fun stat.
It's gonna be a fun year for the rest of it because like there's so many teams. There's so many teams that are still in the mix. dying over here. There's so many teams that are still in the mix, and like I couldn't tell you who my favorite to make the playoffs is right now. Like, the Atlantic Division is a horse race. Like, no idea. The
Metro's insane.
The Metro could have 5 different teams in the playoffs because they have both wildcard spots, but they could also, like, I could easily foresee 2 of those teams dropping off, and it wouldn't surprise me. Like, it's just, it's wild.
That's a true wildcard division. But then the Central stacked. Yeah. The Pacific, the Sharks and Flames, who everybody had in the playoffs, they've been sort of falling off. Man. The Yotes are in there, but let's talk about the Flames.
Let's talk about the Flames, but their last 6-game win streak since they fired Peters. That's cool.
Is that good? Is there a correlation there? Bad, right? Firing your racist boss and then doing better?
Huh.
Are you telling me when you fire someone like that, you do good things?
Oh, Sheldon Keefe?
Oh.
Different.
That didn't work with the Leafs, did it?
Come on, guys.
Right.
Yeah, no, Calgary's been flying.
And the Leafs have them coming up tomorrow.
Tomorrow night.
Yeah, great.
They talked about starting Hutch, but I hope they start Anderson because there's a
day
off in the middle.
Yeah. They said they wanted to get him in at some point on this Western Canada road trip, and it was like Vancouver, and then it's Calgary, who's buzzing, and Edmonton, who's first in the Pacific.
With days off in between each.
Yeah.
You know what? Just say fuck it. Go get Logan. Let McDavid get like 10 points against you.
Yeah. Let him set the record. If you want to be in the record,
Sittler's record, I won't even be mad.
Yeah,
Sittler's record against the Leafs.
Let's CCB -9, and everybody wins.
Yeah, sure, why not? But then I think at that point you could probably replace Hutch in the middle of the game because you're not on a back-to-back. But we won't do that. That's not fun. Give Hutch a chance.
Here for history.
sticking with Calgary a little bit, unless you guys have anything else to add onto them. Because just transition off a little bit. Akim Aliu, former Calgary Flame. The guy's been in the news constantly since, and like more and more stories are coming out of like
he's
stuff.
He's gonna keep being in the news.
Yeah, which is good sometimes, because like he is fighting for the code of conduct, and that was great, and it's starting to change the league a little bit. But like then you see stories about, I'm not fully sure where this was. What team was it?
So Colorado Eagles, AHL.
Okay, so yeah, when he spent time there, and they had
it was just a Halloween party.
Yeah, where they had one of their staff members dress up as Akim Aliu, but on the back of the jersey they used his nickname, which is like borderline racial slur, I think it was, because I'm pretty sure like he went out on an interview and said he was called 8 Ball or something like that. I think it was, but don't quote me on that. So, anyways, they used that as his name on the back, and the guy was like fully painted in blackface, and then like they took pictures of it too, which is ridiculous. But like they told him to show up late so they could surprise him with this thing and all that, and it's like, this is a guy that still works for that team.
Yeah, he hasn't been fired. They released their apologies and stuff today. He still works there and has not been fired. 12 hours out.
He was placed on administrative leave though.
Was he?
Okay.
Yeah,
I didn't see that.
The article right now because I hadn't really read up on it yet.
Okay, I hadn't seen that before we started.
Yeah, I haven't read any articles on it. I've only seen like the Twitter backlash of it, basically, so like where it originated and how it came to be, but I haven't actually read into what the team's done. It's
just a bad look.
It's wild if you don't fire. Like with everything that's going on, if you don't fire this guy.
And that's the thing. It's just a staff in the AHL.
He doesn't matter, man. Like it's not. They're easily replaceable. Like he's not even. It's not even like he's a coach or an assistant coach or something. Like he's just a member of the staff.
Not to bring this political again, like we did with the whole Cherry thing, but here we are again, holding our AHL team equipment staff to a higher standard than our prime minister. Yeah, no, it's a tough situation, but I mean, all this negativity that's happening from all these stories and stuff is positive in the long run, as we've said, and like he's working with Kaepernick's lawyers right now, so I would expect a lot more stories to come out.
So the back of the jersey was Dreamer.
Dreamer, okay.
And that's also his Twitter handle, so I don't think that's
it wasn't as bad. Okay.
That ain't it.
Yeah, no. Because when I read it at first, I think they mentioned the racial nickname, but I might have just misread some information, which is very possible. For
sure been.
Yeah, well, that's what they called him in the dressing room. Where did he play in the O?
Sudbury.
I think it was that. No, I think it was Windsor. It was whenever he played with Steve Downey.
It was Windsor.
I think it was Windsor. They called him 8 Ball. Like he put it in an article. It's like because that was when he was going through a lot of shit where it's just like he was fighting with Downey because he wouldn't do the initiation stuff.
Yeah.
And like all of that, and he's just like, yeah, like they would call me 8 Ball, and I'm like, holy Jesus, dude.
Yeah.
I went through some tough stuff.
He also took a picture with this guy as Akim Aliu was dressed up as an Indian.
Yeah, I didn't love that.
It doesn't help the look. Like it's tough to help your own image when you're doing stuff like that.
That was a wild picture that added to the story.
They're both smiling and
kind of looks like here. Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah.
He didn't bring this up though. Like this wasn't an Akim Aliu story that he brought to the media. Like, look, this is what happened to me. This is something that someone dug up.
Playing with it now though.
Yeah. It's kind of one of those things where maybe you say, hey, Johnny, remember when this happened? And then Johnny runs to the media, and then you're like, oh, that did happen. It was bad.
Yeah, okay.
I mean, it's all just lawyer stunts right now, but hopefully it brings some positive change. Bringing it back to a lighter side.
Yep.
It's almost World Junior season, baby.
Well, we are closing in fast.
Selection camps this week. Canada's expected to make a bunch of cuts by tomorrow night.
They played U Sports today, right?
U Sports is tomorrow, I thought.
No, they played today.
Yeah. Lafreniere didn't play.
No, it wasn't their big guys, I don't think, playing today.
No, but Lafreniere's out with an ankle injury right now anyway. Just being careful with it.
Did U Sports win again? Because they win that thing a lot.
I was thinking it was tomorrow, so I didn't see. But, I mean, you saw my predictions pretty good.
You're close.
Dudas is hurt, so that sucks. I'm not expecting him to make it because he hasn't been able to skate with the team all week. They've had him out there stick handling and doing some skating, but nothing much. And if they're cutting guys tomorrow and he hasn't been out, it doesn't bode well. McIsaac has played 3 games this year with Quebec, and he has looked like the best defenseman outside of Byram out there. He's been buzzing.
He was good last year too, though.
Yeah, he's a good player. Nico Dawes might win the starting job in net. Guelph's goalie last year for their playoff run. Not a big name. He's looked good all year, and he's carried it into camp.
I've seen a handful of articles on it. Like, this is the first year in a while where there's zero certainty on who your goalie's going to be.
Yep.
Like, okay. So they had the lines posted today too.
Yep.
Yeah.
If you want to know.
I would love to know.
Tell me. Want to go on it?
I don't have it.
I got it.
Okay.
He had Byfield, Cousins, and Foot together. Perfetti, Deliandra, and Foodie. McMichael, Akil Thomas, and Mercer. Newhook, Gruel, and Holloway, Krebs, Zari, and Lavoie. Then you had McIsaac and Byram together. Smith, Schneider, Ballbrunner, Ducker, Harley, Drysdale. Then two defensemen. I don't think will make it.
I think Drysdale was on the 4th pair there, right?
Yeah.
He's making the team.
He's good.
Just put it in stone. He's been my favorite player to watch since he was 16 prospect-wise. Like, he's amazing, man. And as I said, like with the World Junior article, like this is the first time we've had so many draft-eligible players in camp in forever. Like, anytime I can remember. There's 3 2002s there. There's 7 draft-eligible players. Canada doesn't do that.
If Lafreniere plays, does he play with Byfield?
Probably not. I think they'll both be on the left side.
Okay.
But, I mean, that's a good thing.
Will play center?
What's that?
You don't think Lafreniere will play center?
Isn't he a center?
Lafreniere's a winger.
I thought he was a centerman.
Oh, no, he is a winger, because that's why a lot of people are putting Byfield ahead of him in the draft.
Yeah, but Hunter said he likes Byfield better on the walls because of his size anyway.
Yeah.
Which I think will happen in the NHL too. But yeah, dude, I don't know.
Lafreniere does some gross things, though. You see that one-handed pass he threw from, like, he undressed the guy and then threw it back one-handed.
See the one where Jack Eichel walked around St. Louis from the corner?
Yeah, he literally, everybody just moved out of his way. And
every night he's good for at least one highlight on Twitter. Like,
crazy, man.
He's going to be close to Crosby's point records.
The Rimouski kid?
Yeah, that guy.
I saw him live. It's a lot of fun. Saw him live when he was like 16. It's ridiculous.
He was still dominating the queue.
Yep. Oh, dude, he had 4 points tonight. I saw him. Crazy.
Yeah.
Him and Zadina lit it up too.
That's exactly like Lafreniere or whatever he was. I say Lafreniere, whatever. It's French. Last year he was what, 16? 17?
Yeah.
He had 105 points.
No, that's what I'm saying. I went and saw him when he was 16.
Oh, him. I thought you meant Crosby. Sorry.
No, Lafreniere. I saw him when he was 16. Crazy.
80 points in 60 games. The 16-year-old.
Yeah. As a turning 16-year-old.
Yeah.
Wild. Kid's a child and he was out there making guys look stupid.
He's built though too. Like, people don't realize that. Like,
yeah.
Looks
like a baby.
6'1", 192 pounds. That's solid.
Yeah, I feel bad for right defensemen in this tournament. If him and Byfield are both playing left wing, they are getting terrorized.
Yeah, but you know who else is that? On that left side is Perfetti and McMichael.
Yeah, also good. McMichael is right now maybe a steal of last year's draft class already. That guy has taken off.
He always kind of had a little bit of that potential.
He always was good at everything, and this year he's just exploded offensively.
He's a Washington draft pick, right?
Yeah, like 26 overall.
Yeah, because they need help.
Yeah, because they don't have good centermen.
Wow.
Anyway.
We got anything else, or we'll just end it happily on the fact that we are, 15 days away from the World Juniors? Crazy. We'll have a lot of content this year on it.
Can you bet on World Junior games?
Yes, you can. I did last
year. Outworld.
Yikes. Nick and I are about to lose a lot of money.
Does Canada win, do you think? Or do you think the U.S. is so good?
With this tournament, you never know, man.
Finland and Sweden are not as good as they usually are. in my opinion.
Sweden.
U.S. is going to be good.
Yeah.
It's
Russia's
Sweden
good
that's undefeated in round robin play, but has never won.
Yeah,
Right?
48 straight round robin games, and then
We'll just keep that streak running. I don't
U.S.
think
is going to be good, man. Spencer Knight is a goalie.
Yeah.
They were rolling Turcotte on their third line. That was a top 10, 15 pick last year.
Well, they have Caulfield still, Boldy,
Yeah,
York.
yeah.
That's all first round picks from last year.
Is there any word on anybody coming back from the NHL?
Joe Veleno's going from AHL. They weren't sending him to camp because they're on a road swing. That's big. I had him in a prediction, so I had one to the tally.
Dobson maybe.
Dobson's a maybe, but I don't see it.
No.
It'd be nice.
I don't think about Doc either. I don't think Doc will.
No,
I saw a few people mention
They already
Doc.
said no.
Yeah,
Said no.
I saw a few people mention Doc, and I'm like, why? He's
it doesn't make
playing
sense.
well for Chicago.
Dobson hasn't played a ton minutes-wise, but like with a team that's doing that well with that type of system, why are you taking your rookie out of it right now when you're buzzing?
Yeah, Doc passes 10 games too, right? Like he's playing a lot of those. Yeah,
he's staying.
It doesn't make sense to be like, yeah, we're paying him, but whatever, take him. It's like that tournament. Like it's cool for us, but like as an NHL team, like running a business. As an NHL team running a business, you want him playing NHL games, right?
Yeah, it's the Olympics.
You don't need him.
You
don't need him.
The insurance.
Yep. With Dobson, he's only played 2 games since the start of November, and in those 2 games, he had 9 minutes and 13 minutes.
So he's not really doing much.
So you may as well send him down for some ice time.
Doesn't hurt.
I don't see it from just rumors coming from the island.
He hasn't even hit his 10-game mark yet.
Has he not?
No, he's.
I thought he was about to.
He's played 8.
If he hasn't, then it would make sense to send him down.
He's played 8 games.
Yeah.
Huh. Well, who knows?
Doesn't hurt.
And he hasn't reached 15 minutes in any of those 8 games, so it's not like he's playing a lot in their system. So.
Yeah.
All right. Well,
guys, just bashing my predictions now.
Stay posted with us because we are probably going to turn into a World Juniors podcast really quick.
Oh.
Because December hockey kind of does one of these in the NHL, and it's kind of like, So there's at least there's something to talk about.
2 weeks from now, we have a podcast on Christmas Day, so we'll be previewing the game for the next day on Boxing Day. I'm kidding.
Yeah, we'll see everybody at 10 a.m.
We may need to move that one. We could probably do it before if you guys.
No, let's do a Boxing Night recap.
Boxing Night recap.
Yeah.
Okay.
Look, Canada's a wagon. Doesn't Canada play U.S. the first game?
Yeah. At like 1 o'clock in the morning.
I don't like that. I don't like that. I like when we play Denmark or Latvia game 1 and we can all go, oh my God, it was 15-0. Canada's sick.
Look how good we are. Yeah.
Yeah.
I saw people complaining that we don't play them on New Year's. I don't want them to play them on New Year's. Fuck that. I don't want to have to sit around all night and watch the Canada U.S. I know, but I don't want to sit around and watch that before I go out.
Outdoor game for the last 20 years. It's a tradition.
We're getting another one, eh?
Yeah, like nobody wants to watch that.
Mac
not
does.
even gonna watch it.
Mac might watch.
When are we getting another one?
20.
We just awarded it.
They just announced they're getting another one
2 days ago.
It's not in Chicago, but they're playing in another one against Minnesota. Is their plan?
Like who cares?
Like, I mean, cool. We get another new Blackhawks jersey you can hang on the wall. I guess that's fun.
I wonder if it's gonna be with like white stripes and stuff like the rest of them. That'd be cool.
Just a subtle redesign of their already existing jersey
with racist logo.
Not even close to being racist.
On that note,
we almost finished positive. All right. Well, yeah. Keep posted. We'll have all sorts of World Junior stuff coming up.
Bunch of articles coming out this next week or two.
I think we're all working on different things, which is cool. So yeah, stay locked into theasports.com. Follow us on Twitter, Instagram, Facebook. Hit subscribe. Hit subscribe over there, I think, or whatever side it's on. We're not very smart here. Hit the like button too. That's cool. We really appreciate it if you subscribe. We need those. More views are more fun. Yeah. Tell all your friends. Thanks for listening. Cheers.